This is AA network. This is the whole point. From the German aspect, looking south, we have a lot of cover. These are all wheat fields right there. A lot of tree line, kind of leading right up to the whole entire point. Now on the western side, let's move over there. I think this is probably one of the better lanes of attacking because we have these buildings that we can probably build our OPs on and push out of onto the point.
That's an open field though. That's death trap.
Yeah, it is. This is a death trap, but this road right here, you can kind of traverse a little bit easier.
Yeah, or even jump over into that wheat field. That's the only real approach from that angle. That broken house you're looking at. Turn around. That broken house. If you can get into that top floor, it's a great spot for an MG because you can cover that entire side.
Oh, that is deadly.
Yep. Mount that right there. You can cover those houses and the entire field.
Yeah, this is a really great MG spot.
This is important enough to prioritize with like a spotter in addition to two MGs. Like we should
Oh
like
yeah, throw a
specifically
squad lead
have
up
this.
there with binoculars, and you're good to go.
Yeah, we should make this like a point to discuss before the match.
That's what we're doing now. So if we record this, anybody else can watch it and kind of see. Yeah, this is a really good spot.
Yeah, it's deadly. Turn around and let's see how open your ass is.
It's pretty decently open.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to be in the point to even shoot you out of it.
Yeah, but I think this is two MGs. I think we have one MG facing this direction, and we have another MG facing this direction.
Oh man, yeah, that one you're at right now, that is super deadly.
And actually, this one here, if we can get three of them, one facing east, one facing north, that covers the entire northern attack.
Yeah, that north is terrifying.
And then the west is completely covered. So this building, this is three MGs in this building for sure.
And that's for either side, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
like look at that gap to the north. Like you are not pushing that direction at all. That is deadly. Your only chance, you have a 200-meter sprint to get to your nearest cover, quote unquote. That's just the point where you can't even see you through that hedgerow.
What's the play area going to be like? Are we going to be able to like go around to those hedges way north up there?
I think it's
I haven't checked. Let me
these
check
four
that.
squares is the rules.
So yeah, we should
Oh,
be
so
able to
we're
get to
four
that
squares.
hedgerow.
So yeah, that's gonna be deadly.
So all the way up here, like right up here is where play zone starts. So we would be planting our garrisons on the north on this line. So we have a lot of room to play with.
Yeah.
My suggestion with that as well: push our Garys as far out into the corners as we can, because that's gonna open up flanking options for all of us.
So over here, this is as far as we could build would be right in this field.
Yeah, so I'd push it in the corner in the middle of that field. That's gonna be a great spot.
If they realize that's where our garrison is it's still an option to spawn, then go backwards to then wrap around to that road.
Yes, but flanking wise, that opens up so much capability because that shortens your long flanks and extends your closers, and it just lets you hit at the same time if you split up.
Is is a wheat field coverable by MG fire on an elevated position? Like, are they going to be able to shoot at us when we're crouched running through the field?
Yes.
Yes.
So the wheat field is doesn't provide any actual cover. It's just obscurement. So theoretically, if they got an MG, it's like shooting into an open field.
And the only good thing though is I don't think they're going to be able to set up anywhere specifically where it starts to unrender.
Does the elevated position change any of that? Like being able to see more clearly?
Makes it a little easier to see targets moving around, but doesn't look like they have any angle here.
No, they don't really.
Yeah, like the only benefit you'd have from a high angle is just potentially grabbing that little bit of movement. It's not going to be you can see someone easier; it's you can see them moving easier.
Got it.
Yeah, and I
I
mean,
will say I miss the old wheatfield textures because you could go prone and see forever.
Yeah.
so that covers that garrison. Let's look at this side over here.
Well, and then honestly, if we're going to put the garrison all the way pretty much on that line, that opens up a lot of room that we could put the other garrison because now we have like half of that tile to play with,
Yeah,
or like
when
the
we
full
finish this
tile.
fly through, I'll pull up my thing and I'll show you guys what I was talking about.
I think this is a pretty good spot right here. Like that location right here is a good spot for a garrison. It's got pretty good coverage. I mean, we're kind of got an angle here with the hill.
What if you move a bit closer to that play line? Like, because they're not going to be able to come up into this square.
Yeah, I kind of like maybe right inside one of these. And honestly, this is just a better location for fighting in general. Because you have so many more angles to attack and like get out of.
Yeah, I think, ideal Gary location has cover, but also multiple exits.
Exactly. The multiple exits I think is the most important thing because we just can't be predictable and exit from one location. That was the biggest thing on Hill 400 with our one garrison to the south was they knew we had to come out of that building and go like basically one direction. Okay, so that covers that location for Gary. Let's go check out this location for Gary. I think probably just behind this hedgerow.
That's what I was thinking. There's only really two options, hedgerow one way or hedgerow the other way, but at least there's a lot of obscurement here.
Yeah, and you can really take like some deep angles and go all the way around if you had to. And it leads to like the assault that we're probably gonna end up having to do is that way. And then over here.
Depending on where we want to put this, like eastern garrison, we could even move that garrison deeper in, like towards the middle.
Yeah, this is perfect for a location as well. Probably right behind this hedgerow. Yep. We're still in? Yeah, this is perfect too.
Yeah, I'd go right there.
The only problem with that is it's right against the play line, so we can't really flank to the east. So we would almost be funneled like right out of that hedgerow. So for instance, if they got an MG looking at that like road right there, they could gun down anyone coming out of that garrison.
Yeah, but if we put it back here, it's pretty far away from point.
That's true.
Actually, wait a minute. Are we still? Yeah, so it's these four. So when we could push it, we could push it way up here. But at that point, we're pretty close to that one. But this is a pretty good spot. Yeah.
Maybe just in the wheat field.
Trying
So
to
how
find a
does
good
that
map
look?
so I can draw on it.
So right here, if we're just going to assume that you're at the garrison spot, I feel like that might be good because then you can push up obviously right on that road, and then you can go to the right and you can still flank down this road and you still have cover and you can go like around to where we were just looking at that other potential garrison spot.
The problem with this though is you have a clear line of fire, and so let's see where this is actually set up at. I mean, this is
Yeah, that could
clearly,
be
yeah, this is clearly in like where they would defend from is this little hedge break. So, I mean, that's a clear shot there. We definitely can't put it there. If we do use this, it would have to probably be like right here. Which, yeah,
Yeah.
going back to your point, like, yeah, I think this is definitely the way to go. Because here we have cover from that angle, and let me see. Yeah, this is all out of play. That whole area is out of play. And it gives us the same benefit, right, of being able to go across that way and push across this way.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't really like this area, this design. There's not much. It's just a wide open place, but I feel like out of the potential locations over there, that's probably the best.
Yeah, this entire southern approach kind of sucks. I mean, there's not really much cover. Like, I mean, how would we even approach this?
You
Maybe,
have to go, yeah, right
Just hope
here.
like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
yeah.
I just hope that their MG sucks.
Yeah, this southern push is going to be extremely difficult. It's going to have to be here. This wheat field and this road is going to be the push. So we might as well just set up both garrisons right over here. Right?
Well, we're still gonna want some separation because we need something to help split up and hit different angles.
I agree with that, but what angle are we hitting over here?
Hopefully, hope that they get distracted and they aren't watching that.
Honestly, yeah. You could prone and just hope that you can
Like
sneak
straight
across.
up, have everyone push that one side that's really good. If we lose the point and we have to attack, have them all push from that one side. They're all going to turn and look that way, and then have a squad sneak in through from this side and hit
A
them from behind.
squad, one squad leader. That's all you. Maybe two squad leaders. You know.
I
Yeah,
think
just
that's
have
the
them
play,
do
yeah.
that way and pop their OPs, and then their squads redeploy.
Yeah, I think that's the
And make
play.
sure those guys, their squads are full of satchels, so they can just run up, throw satchels on buildings, and die. Who cares?
Smokes and satchels.
Okay,
I
so
think for the rules tomorrow, I think they banned satchels.
actually, yeah, you're right.
Oh, that's lame. I hate those
Yeah.
rules.
Okay, so one garrison right here. Appleseed, you said you're drawing this on a map?
I'm trying to find the St. Mary Dumont map. I have nothing popping up.
It's in the TAC event info.
Oh yeah, but I need it for Strat Sketch, so I can actually draw on it.
You can download it and put it in there,
Yeah,
right?
let me try that.
I mean, it's the entire map. It's not just that, but you know. Okay, so that covers this attack. I think the southern attack is that's exactly what it's going to have to be. We kind of focus this wheat field and this road and this hedgerow and try to just pull around.
Oh, it's got to be a URL. I can't just steal it.
That's annoying. So let's take a look at the northern approach.
Real quick, Butcher, are you going to be here tomorrow? Like, are you available?
At what time?
Usual playtime.
I need a more specific usual place.
Somewhere between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.
8 a.m. and 8 p.m. My cousin's having a birthday, and I've been invited. It's around 5 o'clock p.m. at my
It's so it's tomorrow, like 23 hours. It's like, what time is it right now for you?
currently
He's gonna be like-
5:45.
It's gonna be right at 5 for you then.
Did somebody need a copy of the map?
And 5 o'clock is at my cousin's birthday.
Yeah, Appleseed needs it.
I need a URL link for it.
I got a URL. It's vertical. Is that okay?
Yeah, that'll work. Wherever I can draw on.
Where do you want me to put it?
Oh, just throw it somewhere and tag me, like barracks works.
Okay, so obviously the ally approach I think is just way better.
Oh, absolutely.
If they're willing to consider, you know, just giving us allies, I'll take it.
Hey, that's not a URL.
So,
It converted it. My bad.
Apple, don't expect me to be here tomorrow. But if I'm here, I'll join and participate. But don't expect me to be here.
Okay, I was gonna say voice may not be there, so I was gonna hope you could be there.
Hey,
to
watch
take his
out.
voice.
Sherman's trying to flank from the right.
Well, I'll be
Yeah.
there. I wasn't on the initial 18 sign up or whatever, but I'll be there.
All right,
I'm
you're
not-
my replacement.
I'm not an initial 18 member either.
Yeah, so this is a really easy approach, I think. I think allies are just going to have an easier time taking this.
Yes. So we looked at approaches. If you feel comfortable with that, we can look at like defense angles.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Hey, Appleseed, if you right-click on the image in Discord, it gives you an option to copy the URL link.
Yeah, it's literally giving me a gray screen when I do that, though.
I'm sorry, man.
All right, we're gonna look at Hill 400.
So from this angle, we're able to obviously line up here in the sandbags, but I think it's really, really easy to suppress people in the sandbags. We still need them there, but I think the MG in this building is just, the 3 MGs in this building is definitely going to be the play.
Yeah. Like the only thing I worry about looking at this, assuming they're coming at us, right? So over on the left, they can come down just like those guys are and move down that like wall, and then on the other side of the road. So like looking at the road, there's a hedgerow on each side. That's like 4 different attack lanes, right? Or 3 basically.
Yeah, this is, so the main attack point from this side is going to be, let's get into here really quickly and then try to fight out of here, or at least distract and kill, and so that we can go around that side and go around that side. So this point here is really strong. I mean, even though it's kind of not, you know, like you don't really have a good angle to fight at. But if we're able to kind of distract with this is it almost locks out this entire space.
Right. I mean, you're not really fighting to kill them at that point. Like it's hard to hit them, but it's also hard for them to hit you. So you're just trying to suppress them essentially.
Exactly. So then you kind of have this angle that you're coming down, right, to push in this way. So it's got to be defended way up here. So this point has to be defended. Like once we take it, if we're on Germans, we have to defend from this angle here and from this little house here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're pushing, and I mean, like I said again, the Allies just have it easier. They have so many little pathways. As far as defensive positionings, I think this is the primo one right here. Here's another spot to just kind of shoot down this entire lane, and another spot right here to shoot down this entire lane. But this only covers, let's see, like right there. So this actually covers the whole lane. Yeah, this
Yeah.
covers the whole lane. So these are the 2 spots.
Another thing to consider is they banned engineer, so there's not going to be any placeable structures. So the map as it is the map as we get.
That's gonna be interesting.
Are engineers banned, or is it just satchels?
Engineers and satchels.
Nice. Okay, yeah. So that makes things a little bit easier as far as preparation for us, because we know exactly what we're going to get, which is this. We're going to get this, and we're going to get this. So I think as long as we're defending this and this, we kind of can just set up on this wall. Boom, boom, in this trench here, all the way into the end of the play zone, which is like this gap, and then this gap, which is outside of play zone. But
Right.
I'm gonna assume we have to defend this.
Yeah, so the rules that they posted said that you have 10 seconds. You can run out of the play zone, and if you're out of the play zone for more than 10 seconds, you get kicked.
Okay, that's a good rule. So then this position here is the other angle to defend.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I think they could definitely make this in 10 seconds all the way around. Pretty positive. But I think this road right here is the defense position. Boom, boom. That little trench line. Boom, boom, boom. This covers these attack lanes really, really well. We set up defenses here and here. So the guys who die here pull back to here. And then try to retake this. And then let's see what this looks like from inside facing north. This is pretty good.
As long as you have somebody covering that road on the right, like the MG looking down it, like you're good.
I don't think I mean, yeah. It depends on the squad structure, right? We already have 3 MGs. I mean, if that's what we're saying, in this building. This MG, look at what he's covering. He's covering a ton. This MG, let's take a look at it from this angle. Now that I'm looking at it, knowing the map a little bit better, I don't think this MG is really needed.
Yeah, I think it would be better going next to that other house to cover down that whole road, maybe.
I think so.
But even then, that's a good angle, so if they get on the point, one of those other 2 MGs can switch to it.
Yeah, this is a very good angle. So 1 MG here, 2 MGs in the house. So then we have this attack angle here, is this wall, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not gonna move.
So you would have to
That's fine,
pretty
I got
much
it.
go from hole to hole. And these are pretty large holes to be exposed to an MG. And these 2 MGs are just covering this angle really, really tight. This is not viable, I don't think.
Yep.
No.
I think if the defense is like pretty well set up, you're just too exposed in between these huge holes to take this angle.
It's definitely not going to be a main push, that's for sure. Maybe 1 or 2 squad leads could like go prone and flank down it, but even then, that's going to be rough.
So what are they gonna do is probably we're gonna have to come all the way around this side, right? Yeah, this is still in play. And this is gonna be the push. Right here. And again, where does this lead to? This is the Western Houses. This is the ones we were talking about before. Which again is a pretty difficult push. You definitely can't push from this angle. You would have to push like this or like this.
Remembering like just playing in past matches, those houses back there, they do have a pretty good line of sight and there is some cover. So like you can take not in the houses but like around them, you know. So you can kind of aim out at them, like set up an MG on one of those walls and shoot at the point to suppress them and distract them while the rest of the team moves up.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, you could probably stand here on this and shoot at the house. Yeah, a little bit more of a dangerous spot, but still, this one is awesome.
Yeah.
If you can get here and not get killed and set up the MG,
Commander, I'm coming up with some supply.
you're laying down some heat.
Yeah, so I definitely think taking these houses is the play.
Absolutely. And I think on defense,
Recommend Gary H7.
we can't just fight here.
H6.
I think we also need to try to
G7.
push and take this trench line.
I'll just do.
Yeah, that would cut off both of their main attack angles.
Yeah, definitely. As far as like playing Germans, this trench line is super important because that leads straight into these houses where they could launch their attack from. So let's take a look at this angle. Like, say they're getting distracted over there. They're coming in through the wheat field. This here,
You should push it up a bit.
It'll tell you the distance.
it's not many really good defenses here. It's just a wheat field.
If you get through that wheat field, it looks like some pretty good angles, though.
That's what I'm saying. These are really good angles, and you can really start to poke this trench line.
Oh, I can't get to you with the supplies. Somebody put a gate here on the road.
Yeah. So as this
Nobody
this
can go
whole
through the city
attack
northbound.
really relies on these houses and that other trench, like that trench up there. Because let's see how far west they can go. They can't.
Yeah, but you
They
need more
can't
than
come
one.
out into this open field. There's just no way.
No. Yeah.
So this is the move. It's from here to here, and then they're gonna push in that direction. So we need to stop this northern attack from here. Like, this is a must. This trench line is probably the most important thing on this side of the map, next to these houses.
It's like checkpoints. You know, you have the house and then those trenches. You can only take one after the other.
And then looking in this angle, facing south. So I think we covered north, coming north, defending straight north pretty well. Let's see how we defend straight south.
I think we're going to have to be in that trench line that you're kind of hovering over.
Like right here, MG spraying this angle covers a ton of area.
Yeah, and that's a lot of cover.
This was the other one that we kind of needed to cover, right?
Yeah.
Oh, about time Legion joins us.
That was a joker.
Sorry, I'm at work.
I was joining to say is that Legion's at work right now.
I'm here though, listening.
Yeah, what's up, man? Yeah, we did a little bit of a semi-practice. We just basically did like Saturday night fights. We all got on one side and did some stuff. Now I'm doing a quick recording of the point flyover. We did all the attack angles, and now we're just the last section we're doing is defending as allies against Germans from the south.
Awesome. Just as a heads up for all of you as well, the new ticket system is in place, so when you guys have requests for either squad changes or if anybody new needs like a application status, that kind of thing, we have a ticket system in this Discord chat now.
Nice. Good work, guys.
Sweet.
So this is going to be way harder to defend, I think, than we first initially thought, right?
Well, I guess let's start it. We can't really rely on that house. Like the god tier house. It's not covering anything over here.
Commander, could
No.
you drop a tank at right spawn? Some
Yeah, this building is not covering south. I mean, this is a good building to cover west, and I think if we're allies, we should at least have one person covering these western houses as usual. But yeah, their attack is really gonna be difficult, but so is the defense because there's just so many little points they can get through.
Yeah, it's like everything to the south is just open. So defense and offense sucks.
And actually, we can watch these guys, kind of see how they're playing this. Alright, so we have this wall. This wall is a pretty good section to kind of like push off the attack from a bunch of different angles. And I think it just goes back to this road. This road on both sides, no matter what, this is the road to defend. Because it basically gives us an angle. Yep, gives us an angle on the entire side. So we're really looking at this.
Yeah.
This road is what we gotta take for defense. Yeah, this is just a giant wheat field. They can't. I mean, it's gonna be difficult to push through. And then they have 3 lanes here, right? 1, 2.
Right.
And then this is the other. This is the bigger problem. So this road is the main line of attack for Germans. This is what we went back to earlier, right?
Yeah, when we were looking at how to attack from here, we were looking at that road.
It's this road. That's it, man. That's really it. I mean, the other thing is just going to come down to skill level because like the Germans on this map are just really at a disadvantage.
So when we were just looking at that wheat field and like defending from this angle, the thing that I was thinking of, so if we're on that road, right, and I'm defending here, the thing that I'm worrying about most, so let's assume there are guys to the right defending, guys to the left defending, random people walking through that wheat field. They could come from anywhere in that wheat field.
Yeah, which is definitely true. And that's again the whole skill part. I think that kind of plays a role into it. It's like we can only do so much for tactics. As far as like where to set up, it just comes down to the actual gunplay. And
Right.
And so like yeah, they can come from any angle, but we kind of have to like we don't have another play on this.
I think so. If we have a squad kind of like at that intersection, right back to your right there, and you know they're looking down these 3 attack angles here, just have one of them facing back towards the point, kind of covers that whole wheat field. Because if they go through that wheat field, they have to go through that road to the left, and you can aim right down that whole road and you can see them.
Comes back to these Western houses. Right, so if you set up here with an OP, you can defend a lot of this lane, right? And then you can move into position right up here, because you're totally right. Like, if you're sitting right here, you're able to, like, guard that, peek out, guard this, and have another guy here guard and peek this, and basically cover this entire side of the map. Because right there is where the enemy garrison is where we're planning to put our garrison at, right?
Yeah.
So it comes back to these Western houses again.
Yeah, those are kind of key no matter what's going on, whether you're attack or defense from either side. You need those houses.
We need a full squad here.
Yeah, even have more ready to come in just in case.
Okay. I don't know. I think we covered everything, guys.
Alright, well I got my stuff set up if you want to watch
I
that.
tank on Bravo's ping.
So this is just kind of like our Hill 400 because I can't pull up St. Marie du Mont because apparently that map doesn't fucking exist in Google. So here in the blue I've marked where our OPs were, and what we ended up doing, my squad came up, we hit up here, came all the way around, there's a house right here, and we had this whole section locked down here to the north. This is what I would refer to as a long flank or a far flank. You typically pick up a bunch of these. So long flanks, it would continue on back to their side and then come in from behind, while a far flank would just come straight in from Hill 400, kind of like what we did. So this is just kind of covering tactics on how you move your squad, what you're going to do with them. Down here, we got completely shut down. The furthest we could get in was to there. That was it. They owned this entire section down here. I would recommend taking our Garys, push them out to the far corners, like I was saying while we were talking earlier. This way, it opens up our ability to push along here and up and in, along this angle and in, this angle and in, all through here. It opens up all these different angles, while just right here, all we can really push, let me delete this, is in and up through this, unless we really want to take the long hike down and up, which no one was willing to do that, just due to how long that would take. So just like squad-wise, I definitely recommend keeping an idea of those flanks, because you keep your Garys pushed out like this, and it just opens up so much more for you to be able to do, just because you can take those different routes in, and it opens up more flanks. You can take your guys and set up an OP, say like right here, and tell them all, hey, I want you to push this way into the point, while I will go around and I'll circle to here at this bunker and set up a new OP here. And then we'll change angle and constantly have our enemies turning and guessing where we're coming from and what we're doing. This is just kind of something that I wanted to go over real quick with everyone, was just kind of like how you move and manipulate your squad into doing what you need to. Because legitimately, all we owned that entire match was...
Well, see, I just sent you a map of St. Marie that I just found.
Yes, I have the map downloaded, but I have to have a link for StratSketch.
It's a link.
What? Nope, that is the same link that I had before that doesn't work. Good try. I'm sorry, though.
Here's the actual wiki page.
Yeah, I tried it. It doesn't work.
Super strange. Okay.
I linked you on if that works.
It's okay. Every one that I have tried does not work.
Super annoying.
But as you can see here, as I'm drawing, the blue is all that we were able to effectively control, and red is everything else that they were able to hold. So they kept guys. They had an actual OP set up here, in that area, along here, and then they had a full line through the trenches here. That's where all their OPs were. They had their Gary posted up somewhere up here and then down here as well. I never actually found the Garys, but they were in that area because they just kept flooding in through these sides. But yeah, that's just all I really wanted to cover, is just keep an idea on your flanks so you can keep that long flank, the far flank, and your direct approaches into the point. It's just, it helps, especially talking as a team itself. So squad leads, we need to always be chatting and talking in command and setting this up, because if we have a squad pushing this direct front flank while another squad comes in from behind, it sandwiches and pinches your enemy in and they get trapped. They have nothing they can do to actually defend and lock down the position.
This is great, and I think we talked about this quite a bit as far as like what angles of attack we got to push, but we should probably call it something. Like in football, you have a post route, and whatever the other routes are in football. Like, should we be calling it something so then that way we kind of automatically know what angle that person's taking?
Well, it's kind of like what I do is I'll have the long flank. When I tell people, like my squad specifically, I'm going for a long flank, it means I'm going all the way back and around to get behind. I have a just the far flank, which is down the one side and in, and then you have just direct approach from your OP, direct front, stuff like that. Like, if you're direct front, you're basically attacking from your HQ versus the Gary.
You have long flank,
far flank, direct.
Far flank. Direct flank and then direct approach?
Yeah. So your direct approaches are just running from the Gary straight to the point. It's your fastest angle to get there, but your direct front is basically just coming in from the HQ side to distract, keep them looking over here, while you have a team on the long flank coming in from behind.
I'll also say, it was mentioned earlier that a lot of the people didn't go for like the long flank because it's a lot of running, right? And they're out of the combat for a while, but you could honestly use that to your advantage, because if you're out of combat for a while, that means they're out of combat for a while, the game's slowing down, and then your imagination is your own worst enemy. They're going to be trying to figure out where you're coming from, and they're going to be spreading out searching instead of like directly focusing on exactly where you are.
Exactly, and Devo and Butch, you guys know this, how I will constantly move around. I'll set an OP, I'll say, okay guys, you're attacking the point from this side, go at it, have fun. I know I'm setting them into a meat grinder to die, but while they're doing that, I'm snaking my way around to a different angle so that the enemy's distracted looking at them, and then I pop up my OP, they die, respawn, and they have a clear side to run in. There was one point, Legion actually brought this up, he was talking to me, I managed to get all the way in, and I was set up right here. I had an OP right on that bunker, right there, that little tiny one, and I was there for 5 minutes, just laying there, waiting for my OP to refresh, set it up, and I just continued to lay there. And my guys were just streaming into the trench line that's right there, just to the north of that bunker. But it's constantly keep your guys moving, keep the enemy team guessing on what you're doing, and pushing these Garys out gives you so much more capability with your approaches. Because if you look all down here, no one came down this side. It's completely empty. No one touched it. We stayed to these 4 grid points, and that really screwed us because they did come down into southern approach, and they had OPs and Garys all through here. Because I came down here at several points and popped 5, 6 at a time. Yeah, that's really all I have though. Is just your individual squad and team tactics with where and how to move your guys around. If anyone has any questions or concerns, anything like that, feel free to ask.
No, I don't think so. I think the biggest thing is just assigning who is doing what. Okay, like Appleseed, long flank every time, or far flank. Teflon, long flank. Because we do need pressure from the front, right?
Oh yeah, you need the most pressure from the front. With a lot of this though, like with what we're doing tomorrow, I would almost say everyone just take that direct because we need to get on that point and lock it down as fast as possible. But moving around, like, yeah, call it out to each other just so you know who's doing what and you can respond accordingly.
I think no matter which side we're going to be on, like German or US for the next map that we were just looking at, fighting for AA, it seemed like, was it the West that had those houses? I think most of the fighting is probably going to be concentrated on the west side of AA just because it has a lot more cover. And that, it's a good thing and a bad thing. Most of the attention is going to be over there, but that opens up flanks to the east because if everyone is focusing on the good cover, like what we were talking about, kind of 1 or 2 squad leaders can get around behind them, get in that wheat field, like right next to AA on the east, drop their OPs, and now 2 full squads are attacking from the east out of nowhere.
Yeah, and that's fantastic as it constantly keeps pressure here. Because looking at AA, it is very open all the way around. There's no real great points to push from. Those houses, like we said, are the key factor. And then Power House that we had set up as well is another one. But like 100%, this is Power House right here. We need to own this completely. And then we have the other house that is located right there. That is another power move as well. Because from there, that completely covers this angle and this angle, and this all covers the approach up here. So and even down here.
Are we on German in this instance?
This is just defense locking down the point.
Because I think that the northwestern section, that little trench line to the northwest, on the other side. Yeah, that is the point. If we're Germans, we need to take that. That's a defensive point. And then same thing with that little trench line to the north of the actual point. Yeah, that one right there. So those 2 points are like the most critical to take.
I would almost say 100% no matter what, we need to hold that point. Because that's a great a great spot for our OPs and Garys. Because, just our OPs, because we can't do a Gary there. But we can immediately run straight in because we're right there on the edge of the map.
I think that, and then also that road, that whole road from the house in the southeast that you circled.
All right, yeah.
That to the east, straight east. That road, yeah. Market that. That is the point to hold, no matter what side we take.
Yeah, because taking Power House will cover that, if I remember correctly from looking at it.
For the most part.
And that little section of road right there pretty much covers either direction, north or south, from letting them flank.
Honestly, same with those, like the powerhouses over on the west side. If you take those houses, that is like a giant intersection. You can cover every single road right there.
Yeah, you really can. And that's fantastic as well.
Awesome. Good stuff, guys.
Yeah, I really think like call out wise, what we need to do is just so we're all on the same page as we got Power House, and what should we call the 3 over here?
Western Houses.
Yeah, that works.
So Powerhouse is the one that's in the actual point, right?
Yes, the one where we're gonna put the 2 MGs because they can
So
cover like.
that circle that you did is not Powerhouse.
Oh shit.
It's literally in the trench line.
Yeah, it's
in
like
between the two trenches.
yeah.
Yeah, right there. So this house that you did circle is a powerhouse if we're on Germany looking north because it covers that entire attack lane north.
All right, so we'll have to remember that too, and we'll just maybe G house for German house.
I like that. G house, powerhouse, Western crossroads.
Or even just Western.
Western, well, because we also want to do the Western trenches, right? If we're on German.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
have
So
what-
we'll do Western House or Western Trench, depending on which team you're on.
And then Western, and then Northern Trench is that one.
Yep.
And then Eastern Road. Yeah, so those are the major power points on the map, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Now let's apply what you were talking about as far as the flanking and how you would flank this map.
So if we're pretending to be German and we have our Gary set up, I don't know, we'll say here and here, whatever. So just so they're pushed out. What I would do, honestly, is I'd skirt this edge like all the way up as far as I could. I'd like set up an OP right here, temporary, and then push in, take those trenches to set up another one. And then from there, I would send my guys into houses or up this way to come straight north. I wouldn't go across this field because that's just a death trap. And then, like, going another direction, it would just be realistically straight attack onto those houses and then pushing our way into the point from there.
The only bad thing there is that field that you're crossing right after that garrison is just wide open.
Yeah, it is nothing but open. That is straight death. So you are going to want to have, let me grab like a powdery thing right here. We'll call this smoke. That's your only bet to cross that field because past that, your ass is hanging out in the wind and you're open. Even coming along this side to the north, it is super risky because if they take this over and they're looking this way, we're in trouble. So the plan is to try and get back here and really meet them somewhere in this area to cut them off from getting to those houses so our frontal attack can get there first. We
So
do have
really,
Go ahead.
Didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay, well, from our side, these houses are slightly to our advantage because they're just that much closer to us. So if we're playing this side on Germany, I believe, we should not have an excuse to not have those houses first.
So what I was going to say, just on your point about smoke, I feel like, honestly, one squad is capable of doing that. So you get the assault with the grenadier, has like 3-4 smoke grenades, depending, throws out all his smokes, and then you have one support drop down that ammo box so he refills his grenades, and then that's a whole nother set of smoke grenades. And so if you're trying to flank like through that field, for instance, you could have 2 guys go with you and basically smoke the entire field, and that's just one squad. And then from a defensive standpoint, if they're looking at that huge smoke screen, like that's a giant smoke screen, like normally people only have 2 smokes, that's going to make them panic, think the larger attack is coming. So even if you fail and you can't flank through there, they're diverting forces to go and stop 3 guys.
Yeah, and that's fantastic to do. Like, the more you distract and draw in attention away from the main force, the better it is. Because just like what I was saying here with the green, take my guys all the way up here for temporary OP while the main force is coming this way into the house. So if they are here for whatever reason to beat us or we're trying to retake it, they're looking at this group fighting them, and we have a good chance of slipping past unnoticed because they're all going to be looking here to see what's going on in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and I think what you were saying about the smokes is a really good idea. I mean, we need to prioritize smokes if we're going to push from the south. Like, if we're Germans, we need to have support that can drop munitions for grenades, and we need to have a medic that has the foregroup of smoke grenades and just lay them out. If we can just bury them in smoke, that's the only way we're making that push from the southeast.
Yeah, 100%. And then here in
Now,
the purple, that's kind of an alternate from the other Gary for doing direct approach. Once you get to this wheat field, you can do whatever the hell you want. That's why it's purple.
Yeah.
Can you erase everything? Let's do the attack from the ally side.
All right, so we'll say coming in from the north, we were looking at I think just somewhere in this field for a Gary, and then I can't remember where the other one was. I think it was like right here where my little
It
plus
was
is.
Yeah,
in those blue squares.
Yeah,
All
in the
right,
blue
so we'll just
squares.
call it right there. So coming down this way, the best options I see is to literally run straight south. I'm gonna grab a different color. Run straight in, take over this field, and get into the point and take over G House. And then
Looking at that, that's honestly just looking at it from a defensive standpoint. That's kind of scary because most of that is wheat field, so it'd be kind of hard to see one or two guys run through that.
yes, and you can blend in pretty well.
I'd like to propose a different place for that, Gary. Maybe at the house to the right of it, because they could just have one person covering that road.
Which
With an
which
NG.
one are you talking about?
The garrison on the right side. We just move it to the house in the middle.
Where?
That one, yeah, right there.
We
That
can't
one's
go outside that.
It's out of play.
We're limited to this 2x2.
Yeah, but that's for okay.
Yeah, because as soon as you can put it there, but you would have to come all the way in to where that green line is and then come down, because you can't go into that other box.
Yeah, so
to
no matter
the-
what, you're gonna end up right where that blue dot is.
Alright, I get it.
But yeah, just from this side, like take over and own that wheat field. It's gonna really set you up. Right here, you can set an OP. That's a great spot for a temporary one, just because it does have cover. I would also try and take these houses and push down along this road to come in this direction, anyways. And even bounce out to this house and come across the field, or even into the trench.
That field is super hard to take. That was the one that was covered by the Power House.
Yeah. So the only hope is
power-
that they don't have powerhouse at that time when you're going across that field.
Yeah, or again the whole strategy with the smokes.
Yeah, we'll just.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Oh, but if they're in that house, smokes are going to be less effective.
100%. Yeah, that attack point is not really viable. Like that middle attack point is really not going to be one of our focuses. I mean, we might be able to try it a little bit, but it really is the wheat field to the east and then the trench line to the west. That trench line is like critical because if we can get to that trench line, we can make it to those houses to the west, the western houses, pretty easily.
Well, and honestly, even looking north of AA Network, like that northeast road that you have that green line on from that garrison, that's a really good attack. Like that road, you can smoke up the road while you're going, and yeah, there's not a lot of cover, but they don't have a lot of cover either.
Yeah, like honestly, from this Gary though, that is the only approach I would ever take. I would come up and I would set my OP right here in the trench, and I'd funnel my guys along the trench and this side of the road to take over that entire area.
So, I was gonna say you can also shift that Gary also to the right outside of the courtyard because you can actually run along the hedgerow onto the main road and help attack it from the north. But if you go through the courtyard, sometimes you're a little bit limited.
Well, you could even that green line right there, like northwest of AA, yeah, that's a hedgerow. So you could go out of that garrison down that hedgerow and attack down the middle.
Yeah, like there's always options to help with the center here.
Yeah, that was the whole point of placing that Gary to the west that far, was because we had multiple attack angles out of that Gary. And same thing with the both of them, and on both sides, was like we want to be able to spread out those Garys to be able to give us multiple angles, so we don't get locked in like we did in the last match.
Yeah, and I think, looking at these games, one of the big things about these Gary placements, we don't want them to be able to see it very easily from the play area. So we want to be able to spawn, move a little bit before we're ever going to be engaged.
Yeah,
both of those do that. Yeah, both of those do not have visible attack points from anywhere inside the play area, even though they're just outside of it.
Well, let me pull this back up because Goku wasn't here for this. Here's my Hill 400 synopsis of why we failed. The red is everything that they were effectively to control, and the blue is all that we were able to control. And so I would have pushed our OPs back out to where the green is, because right here, all we had to push in was effectively that and that, through the middle. Like, that's all we really had, because no one is willing to come down and take this nice long approach where it's safe to come in from behind or up into the bunkers, whichever way you want to do. And so the further you push the Garys out, the more options for flanking it opens up, which makes your attack a lot easier.
Sorry to cut you off there, Appleseed. You guys, really good work on this whole breakdown. I have a video of my flyover. Appleseed, you recorded this, right?
I recorded, yeah.
Awesome. Just send me that link. Send me that file over whenever you get a chance, or put it on Google